Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Upper Tier Podcast, the football podcast we bring you each and every week. Dazzler, how are we?
I was in the middle of a rant, Niall.
You were.
And then you flashed a little message up across the bottom of the screen, and it read,
Hurry bleeding
up you two Egypts. And I started wetting myself, and I says, I needed that.
And a black love heart, no.
Little love heart now. Right back at you, brother. You know,
big
pal.
Big up, Dino.
He's a bit excited.
He's very excited. I tell you, I had
a bit excited.
I had some crack here 15 minutes ago in the room. Ben was in here. We were watching a bit of the Chelsea game, you know. And he says, I said to him, do you want to have a look at WrestleCon and see how we go and meet and get a few autographs and stuff like that?
Yes.
So he was ranting about the match, saying that both these teams are washed, as Ben does. You know, he wouldn't be much.
Well, he was throwing Gerrard under the bus a few weeks ago, wasn't he?
Oh yeah. Never forget him over that slip. But however, we were talking, so we get to the bottom of the list at WrestleCon, and who was at the very bottom? One Jimmy Wang Yang.
Right.
So the next thing, I get the phone out, get the SmackDown team going, and the two of us are line dancing in the room, giving it loads to Jimmy Wang Yang.
So what else would you be doing?
Can't beat it. Excited, never. Niles would have loved Ben on this trip. 100%. I always ask him. And Dazzler one day, absolutely.
100%, pal.
Well,
100%.
Big up, Baz. Good to see you, pal.
Captain Caramello in the chat.
Absolutely. Just to let people know, it is 0-0, and the second half has just kicked off.
It's been a bit of a snore fest.
It has.
Bit of a snore fest. Chelsea probably with the upper hand, and a really good save at the end of the half from the boy Vicario. Really good save. I think saves are always made better depending on who you make them from. So it's a better save for me because he made it against Sancho. You little rat.
Yeah.
Enjoy eating your lunch in the car park, you little rat.
There you go. Right, we'll reflect on the results so far this week, first of all, before we get into it and stuff like that.
Yeah, let's
pick wherever you want to go. We don't have to go down through the
run it down from the top. Obviously, if I'm not a Liverpool fan, I probably won't rejoice with the returning Bukayo Saka because obviously he makes Arsenal a better team. But great to see the kid back. We don't like seeing players missing time because of injury. Well, maybe unless you're Jadon Sancho and Marcus Rashford. But it's great to see the kid Saka back. He's a great footballer, and he was involved with the goal then, obviously, the other night as well. So great for him to be back. Good win for Wolves. Forest obviously got the points against ourselves. I don't necessarily think I think we deserve to lose the game. On the balance of play, I didn't think we were that bad. I thought Fulham defended stoutly as they do. Matt Sells had a very good game. The boy Murillo, Milenkovic, the whole back four really, or back five as it went to for Forest, was very, very good. So they defended well, and they won the game on that. Huge result for Ipswich. Great win away from home for Aston Villa. City getting the train back on the track. Newcastle getting the result at home after the Carabao Cup final, which was great for the Geordie fans to welcome them back.
Big win as well, isn't it? Because no doubt they were celebrating, so that was a big win.
Absolutely, yeah, big win. Palace obviously dropping points to Southampton. Liverpool getting over the line against Everton. Everton making a tough, typical derby. Hard fought game. I'm sure we're going to talk about it later. And then another derby tonight, Spurs and Chelsea. And it's quite similar to Liverpool and Everton last night. It's a bit dull, it's a bit dour. It's not a whole lot of action or a whole lot of quality to be involved.
Yeah, well, before we get into the fresh side of things, then let's get your thoughts. What did you make of this?
Excuse me. I think, first of all, there's no conversation to be had about whether it was a red or not from my point of view. Like it's a red card all day long and twice on a Sunday. I think Duncan Ferguson was in the Sky studio and
your boy
he kind of said, yeah, good pal of mine, Big Duncan, and he said, listen, this a red card. And, Duncan at one stage was Duncan disorderly. So he knew how to handle himself. He could put in a tackle. Sometimes they were tackles, they were headlocks. Sometimes they were right and left jabs. So Duncan knows a way around the pitch. But I think even Duncan conceded last night that Tarkowski was very, very lucky to be on the pitch after the tackle. We spoke this morning, and I think we saw pretty similar. And the one thing we did say was, everything goes on in the heat of battle and stuff like that. But I suppose James Tarkowski, he's a leader in that Everton team. He's a typical old school kind of centre half. He's putting in tackles. He'll head everything. If it moves, he'll head it. And he'll wear his heart on his sleeve, But great to see him at the end of the game going over and putting his arm around McAllister and just saying, listen, I didn't maybe mean it to get to that level, and I never meant to hurt you and whatever and stuff like that. And I think it's important. It's another message that gets sent to the little people maybe that are watching these games. Because what you don't want is you don't want some kid the next day thinking in the schoolyard that it's okay to start putting in tackles like James Tarkowski, where when he puts it in and he goes over at the end and there's a little word and he says, you know what, I'm really, really sorry, I didn't mean that. Then you can say, look, he's gone over, he's explained to me, didn't mean it, and whatever and stuff like that. And it makes things settle down a little bit as well,
Chelsea have just taken the lead.
They have. Ball out wide. Mark Cucurella. It's with Cole Palmer. Palmer whips it in, and that's a free header for Enzo Fernandez, I think. Yeah, Enzo. Free header, middle of the box. Enzo Fernandez. A great ball in. Cole Palmer. Anyone that has fantasy football has Cole Palmer. Most people are taking him out of the team at the minute, but Palmer puts a great ball into the box. Just caresses the ball in from the left-hand side, bends it in, and it's an easy header for Fernandez. He comes onto it really, really well, but the marking's pretty poor. Now I'm looking, where is he? He drops onto, he's really clever. Do you know what he does? He peels onto the fullback at the back stick, which is Destiny Udogie. So he pulls in between Udogie and Mickey Van de Ven. So Van de Ven thinks he's Udogie thinks he's Van de Ven. Nobody comes, and he comes straight through the middle of the two boys. Header into the back of the net. Really good. Really good header. Great. Really good, really clever piece of play from Enzo there. Really clever piece of play.
Yeah, big up Everest. Thanks for joining us. Yeah, I just think it is. It just seems that, and even the challenge on Nunez by Pickford as well, and the history there and stuff like that's just, you know what I mean? It's out there, Dino's in. He was told to go to McAllister by Moyes, I reckon. I don't think he was, Dino, because if you look at Moyes' interview after the game about the tackle, he was playing it right down like it's part of the game. He wasn't saying much about it in a bad way at all, so I doubt it.
I think I think Tarkowski's a decent guy. I think at times now on the pitch, he's rough and rugged. He's old school centre back. I definitely want to play with him rather than against him. But if you see him, I've watched some videos of the Everton team leaving Finch Farm and stuff like that. He drives a big, like a big Jeep, like a big Hilux sort of a thing, a big pickup truck. He's not very fancy. He doesn't have a Jaguar or a Maserati or anything like that. Drives a big. I think he's just a good guy. I think he's the kind of guy you'd want to go for a point with and have a bit of crack with. But I think he knew he went too far. And I think, having respect for your opponents is really important in this game,
Yeah, he was involved in that documentary we followed a while ago, wasn't he? Wasn't he one of the guys?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and he was a good character.
Yeah. I just think sometimes you just, this is, and I suppose from McAllister as well. I mean, last season you had the foot to the chest with Doku, and you know what I mean. It just seems to be highlighted. Spurs is such a pathetic of a club this season. Yeah, they are. They're just, they're all over the shop. Is the ideology to rip Liverpool and benefit Arsenal or City? I'm fuming. Other fans laugh at that, but it's happening all too frequently now. Yeah.
Do you know what I think happens? I think when you come up against a team like Liverpool, right? And for me, like, you guys on your day play the best brand and style of football in the league, right? So I think the old adage of, if you can't beat them, join them, right? Well, they can't beat you at it. So a lot of teams have to do something different. And one of the options is to try and make the game more physical, in the hope that, McAllister, Salah, guys like that go into their shell a little bit and don't play the quality and the standard and brand of football that they're capable of. And it's certainly not the right thing, but I can also look at it from another point of view and say, if it's something that works and I live within the rules, because don't forget, there's a referee, this should be 2-0. This should be 2-0. Oh, that's a bad decision. If there's a ref trying to referee the game and I just have to stay within the lines here, like, it's all subjective. So why shouldn't I try and be physical up to a certain point as well, you know?
Yeah. Big up, Philip. Thanks for joining us.
Phil.
Good stuff. We'll have League of Ireland stuff later on as well, Philip, so stay tuned for that. I can't wait for them to release the tapes for the VAR conversation on the incident. PGMOL came out today already stating that it should have been a red.
Yeah, 100%. They were very quick. I think they're getting the message here where at times you just can't defend some things and you're better off holding your hands up and saying we got it wrong rather than trying to defend it and making yourself look silly, you know?
How do you fix this though? I mean, last night you had 4 officials at the match. You have probably 2 to 3 officials in the VAR booth. Like, how do they get this wrong? How do you come to the conclusion with 7 people that this is not a red?
So I think one of the problems is I think at times there's way too much respect for maybe guys that do the same job, professional courtesy, let's call it, right? Because I know myself, if I see another coach maybe do something wrong, I might not out them and go, what are you doing? You know, I might have a very quiet word to them and say, you could possibly do that a better way. And I would expect the same from them, you know, where this is all now taped and it's all going to be rehashed and played out and stuff like that. So all of a sudden you've got a situation where another colleague is having to kind of pour cold water on, you know, another colleague to say, I think you got that one wrong, pal. And that can cause a little bit of friction at times, especially when you work so closely as these guys do as part of a team. You know, so I don't know whether...
But for me, there's nothing wrong. Chelsea just scored again there, I think 2-0. But for me, the whole thing is basically, there's nothing wrong with getting something wrong if eventually you all go look at it and the collective corrects it.
So we've got Neto, hang on, we got Neto standing over the ball. It's within, cleared. Who's that? Is that Trevor Chalobah? No, it's not. It's Moise Caicedo. It's a great strike, by the way. Chelsea put the ball into the box, free kick from the right-hand side, and it's headed clear to the 18-yard line, and Caicedo takes it on the volley. He kind of clips it with the outside of his right foot and spins it into the bottom corner away from Vicario. It's a real good hit, by the way.
Yeah.
I think, excuse me, I think we should actually, this could be off. Is the first contact there? No, they'll be all right. It's under review?
Yeah, it's under review.
I think it'll be all right because the player who's, let's call live, it's a great finish, player who's live looks to be Jackson Martinez, and he doesn't make any sort of contact with the ball or affect the play. So I think it'll stand. I think.
We'll come back to it and we'll let people know anyway. I'm sure.
I think there's an argument to be made for having an outsider in the VAR rather than a Premier League official.
Well, the thing from my point of view last night, if you look at this decision, right, what's wrong with turning around and saying to Stuart Atwell or whoever it was last night, would you go take a look at the monitor? This looks way worse than maybe what you're thinking.
There's you know absolutely no issue with it, but it didn't happen. So we can only surmise why it's happening. But should it have happened? 110%. Whereas I think, and I know people have mentioned this before, if you have, let's say, an ex-professional in the VAR booth, yeah, who has no kind of, let's say, played professionally to a certain level or standard, but didn't maybe represent any of the teams or a rival or something like that, so he doesn't have a card in the game. If you get somebody like that and you go, ref, what's that? Like, come on. Like, we're football men. We watch football morning, noon and night. We don't need 4 takes to know that was a red. That's an instant.
So see, this is my problem. My problem is this instant could have been resolved last night. Imagine if this match had have ended up 2-1 to Everton. And imagine if we dropped more points and more points and more points, and suddenly Arsenal win the league or whatever it is. You know what I mean? You got to look at these things. Like, this is serious. These are serious decisions. So now we're coming out of last night. The ref and the officials at the match look really foolish. The VAR bill looks an absolute disgrace. And then, you know, then you have the PGMOL straight out this morning giving an apology. They were totally embarrassed about the whole situation. So what's going to happen? Are these refs going to be stood down at the weekend?
Well, I would have a little bit of sympathy for the ref in game. I think in game, it's very easy to miss things with the speed of play, with trying to watch different situations. I think for the VAR, though, if I'm the VAR and I don't flag that and I don't go about making the referee go to the screen and have a look and consider the decision, I think the VAR should be stood down 100%.
I think if you're the VAR guy, Paul Tierney, last night, and you look at this here and you don't think that's a red card, or you don't tell the ref to go look at the monitor, you should be fired. You should be sacked.
Well, you know, you're not going to get away with that. Chelsea goal's been given offside.
Yeah.
Goal review has just been given. Yeah, it's come through on the watch first.
Oh, I see it there. Yeah, offside call. Well, yeah.
I think, you know, your HR would state we're not going to get away with sacking lads. Rules of employment and legislation and stuff like that. But certainly, they should be stood down this weekend. 110%.
But this is 100% obvious in breach of your job.
Yeah, but it's not done. You know, it's and again, don't forget,
he's not making the decision because he's protecting his buddy on the pitch.
Well, we don't know that. You know, it could be human error. It could be subjective because, again, you know, people view things a different way.
Yeah, but Darren, I can see it. You can see it. Duncan Ferguson in the studio could see it.
Absolutely. You know, now, here's what I will say, right? Here's what I will say. And you know, from being in our group, WhatsApp group, this has happened many a time, right? Where something happens on a Saturday afternoon, and there's 6 of us in the chat, myself, yourself, Dean, Ian, Greg, and Ted, right? And we'll all see the exact same incident. And 5 of us might go a direction, and 1 goes the polar opposite. And it's not necessarily for shithousery. People just see things a different way or have a different view. And the problem I feel like with VAR is, not with VAR, with the refereeing is, if I'm that 1 in 6, right, that, let's say 15%, and that's the mistake that's been made, that's fine. But the VAR can't join me in that. That's an issue. Because that should be the one that flags it and says, no, hold on. Exactly. This is clear and this is obvious.
And VAR have every angle, every slow-mo,
slow it down, speed it up, watch it in Chinese, whatever you want, and all of a sudden, you know, the decision should never, ever, in that case last night, be wrong for my money. That should never be wrong, especially when, if you think about something like, you know, something that could play a big part in a game, or something that can play a big part in somebody's career. Because don't forget, like, if Alexis McAllister's foot is planted, this could be
a career.
It could be season or career ending.
Well, it would be 100% season because there's only 3 months left.
Well, it could be, you know, it could be. And again, I don't necessarily think that's something that Tarkowski wanted from the situation. So, you know, it would be on him. But for me, the bigger issue is how Everton get to play with 11 men for the next, you know, 60 minutes.
But I mean, this is my issue. It's the same issue I have with them letting the play go on and then the linesman flagging. What is it going to take? Is it going to take someone to be knocked out on a pitch concussed? Is it going to take a leg to be broken? Is it going to take a shoulder to be smashed? What's it going to take before these guys rise up? The whole PGMOL, VAR, and the referee situation, it's a shambles, an absolute shambles. We seen it even last night in the Núñez one, where he played advantage. Then Núñez comes in, blows the whistle to bring it back. Nunes gets poleaxed by Pickford. And nothing. You know what I mean? And then he goes and he books Nunes.
You saw a video of Andrew last week playing football. And the lads obviously in the chat probably don't know, but he had to come off in a game. He was concussed from a challenge himself and the striker. But the rear end of the challenge was he gave away a penalty and a yellow card, but ended up in hospital. And I was like, wow, this is mind blowing. You just don't know. Now, again, we managed to see the VO. And on the VO, it was very clear and evident that a couple of the pieces of the jigsaw didn't match up for us. I understand, an amateur referee in the AUL or in the Leinster Senior League getting a decision wrong at times. When you have to ref the whole game on your own, and when you have people shouting to the sidelines and managers and blah, blah, blah. When you're talking about professional sport, where we know more than ever, money has gotten out of control. How much these game of footballs are worth. This can't happen and shouldn't happen. Excuse me.
Yeah. Sure. Even mic'd up. We've seen. So I have to say, I did enjoy some of the mic'd up stuff. I think that was during the FA Cup and stuff like that.
Yes.
And they need more of that to make it accountable. But if you look at last night, what are they going to say? Like, what can they actually say? You know what I mean? Like, if you're not going to give it, you're not going to be sent to the monitor. VAR is not going to give it. I don't know what on the mic what's going to say. Like, you start miking that stuff up, you're going to incur a riot or something. You know what I mean? It's just crazy.
Well, I don't think you're certainly not gonna mic up the VAR, are we? Oh, is that going to be reviewed?
Well, the talk is that they're going to mic up the refs, aren't they? And the refs are going to deliver.
Spurs looking for a penalty here, and ball goes down the left hand side, and they're about to take the corner. Now it hasn't been looked at, or it's been waved away. And when the cutback came in, Trevor Chalobah came to cut the ball out, and as he did, he had his hand on the floor, and the ball hits the hand and rebounds out. So now, listen, again, this isn't a decision I'm looking. Hang on, is he stopping it? No, he's not. There's a conversation going on between two of the boys, and he's pulling them up. But it's you gotta get these things right. That they are clear and obvious. We don't need. Because nobody. It's 100% a straight red. Like it's there's no conversation around it. I said when Niall sent me the screenshots today for the show and stuff like that, and was like red or no red, and I was like, are we having a conversation about this? This is nuts. Why would we talk about this? This is so obvious,
Absolutely. Wanted to talk to you about this. This is the level of injuries Arsenal have been sustaining. They're after losing Gabriel now for the rest of the season.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on this? And I think there's been 3 major hamstring injuries that have all required surgery as well. Is this a training thing? Is this sports science? Is this just a really bad run of bad luck? Because it's a heck of a list, give me your thoughts.
It absolutely is a heck of a list. 100% it is. But the one thing I would say is the more and more that these athletes are what we describe as fine-tuned, the more this is happening. Our bodies are built for a certain amount. And at times, we've talked about player welfare and stuff like that. Yeah. We know with the amount of games these lads play, with the amount of work they get through physically, mentally, with the amount of travel they have, not just for, obviously you've domestic travel, you've European travel, you've international travel, you've leisure travel where they're traveling for their holidays and stuff like that. The more times you go up in the air, the worse it is for you. Like, we know this.
Do you know what I'd love to see an analysis of? And I know it's kind of skewed because you don't get the same volume of players, but I'd love a breakdown of, how much of this is related to kind of South America and Brazil and Argentina, Peru, all these compared to like the shorter haul, like in Europe or whatever it is? Is there a kind of something there or something like that?
Well,
Or,
like
I don't know.
look at the list there, right? So you've 6 players on that list. You get 2 are English, White and Saka. You've got 2 from Europe, Odegaard and Havertz, and you've got 2 South Americans in Jesus and Gabriel. So that's a pretty even split. You know, I do think at times some of the playing surfaces don't help. You know, because I think each playing surface is going to be slightly different. And I listened to something.
Do you mean if you're going from, say, the Emirates, you're playing at the Emirates, which has a pretty good pitch, let's be honest here. And
it's not necessarily about it. It's not necessarily about it being a good pitch. It's just going to be different. And so, like, I watched an interview the other day with a guy called Patrick Muratoglu. He's one of the best tennis coaches in the world. One of the most goals Spurs have scored. Who's that? Ian's not going to be a happy camper. The keeper should save this. The keeper should 100% save this. It's a shot from outside the box. It looks like the boy Pape Matasar. It is. And he strikes it from outside the box. It's going into the bottom corner. Sanchez gets a left hand on it, pops it in off the crossbar, and it comes back down and goes in. He should save it.
Did you see the conversation? It's under review. Did you see the conversation we had the other day?
It won't stand. He's come in studs to the back of Caicedo. It won't stand. 100% it won't stand. But the strike, if we look at it, he's put studs in the back of Caicedo's legs, but he's hit it. And Sanchez has gone to dive. And as he dives, the ball hits him on the arm and bounces up off the crossbar and goes in onto the underside. And Sanchez he's definitely not giving this. There's no way he gives this.
Well, don't be surprised.
Surely we're going to the screen. He's going to the screen. Hang on. He can't give this. He can't.
Yeah, big up Everest, spot on there. Like, it's just, and this season now, imagine the break they're going to have, because you got this World Club Cup thing going on that Chelsea and City are in as well. It's insane.
So here's the thing that I was just talking about there. This guy, Patrick Muratoglu, he'd be very famous. He was Serena Williams' coach for most of her career. Okay. So he was a multiple Grand Slam winning coach. And he talked about player welfare. And he covered 7 different topics. And one of the topics that he spoke about was about how when the players go to different competitions, the ball changes based on the sponsor or the manufacturer. And he said the issue was because the balls were all made slightly differently, brand to brand, and they had certain different levels of compression. Some were harder, some were softer, some were for different conditions, that it was challenging the ligaments and the tendons in the player's arms, and you were getting injury from the ball. So if we apply that to the likes of football, say, and I'm an Arsenal player, and I play every game in a whole season, they've looked at this 5 times. Surely, why are we looking at this so many times? This is stone wall free.
It's overturned.
Why did it take so long?
Because they're imbeciles.
Like, I told you a minute and a half ago, I've had a full conversation about tennis balls. Like a minute and a half ago, I told you it was a free, and he's booked the lad for the tackle. So first of all, you're not sure if it's even a foul, and now you're going to book him. Like, what are we doing here? So if you're Gabriel,
I rest my case. My case.
if you're Gabriel and you play on that Emirates pitch 50 games a year, are you in a safer position than you are playing 25 games on it, 19 at 19 other league stadiums, and 6 in Brazil on different surfaces, where your muscles have to then take a certain level of, you know, like when the shock,
Hey, what's this?
right?
Hey, what's
Every
this thing?
time.
Yeah.
So, like, it goes into, and we know our bodies work in a certain way, that there's a lot to do with the fact that, you know, when we do shock the body can go into this fight or flight mode. It tensens up, it tightens, and then all of a sudden you end up getting injuries or little things here and little things there because of it. I think the pitches have a huge part to play.
Yeah,
Huge part.
Spot on. Absolutely. Yeah, I think so as well. I think, and I would assume as well that, especially for teams at the very high level as well, I would imagine that their training facilities nearly mimic the pitch at the Emirates. So they're training on
they're
it most of the week
supposed to
as well. Yeah.
So that pitch plus the pitch you play on is golden. Your away games, any of your European games, your international games, anything like that. And it would be, I'd actually be very interested to see what the breakdown of the injuries was when they were on different pitches than maybe their norm.
So let's suppose you go play Ecuador and you're playing at altitude. Everything kind of changes. It's probably a different blend of grass. Who knows?
Everything.
Who knows?
I'd say there's probably a lot of grass.
Possibly.
You know, but I still think even playing in the league on different pitches, and it's not necessarily a good pitch or a bad pitch, it's just made differently. And the you know, there's a different level of give in the surface.
Yeah.
You know, if we talk about, we like a bit of horse racing, don't we?
A little bit.
Okay, so at certain times, owners won't let horses race on the wrong ground.
Yeah.
Where's the difference?
Good to firm.
Yeah. Where's the difference in a footballer, which is the same finely tuned athlete as a player? You know?
And I suppose even playing across the UK, even playing in the Premier League, you've got such indifferent weather. You know what I mean? You can have a beautiful sunny day today. You can go out tomorrow and it could be like a blizzard. You just don't know. The weather's so changeable as well.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And it's just, but I think it's something they should try and delve into. And I think it's something that the players, their organization, what's a PWA, is it? What's it called? PW something or other?
The PFA.
PFA or whatever it is, yeah. I think they should look into it as well and gather that information and try and figure out kind of what's going on, you know, because as we said before with player welfare and stuff like that, it's just diluting and devaluing the Premier League as a brand at times as well.
Absolutely.
With all these injuries. Because we want every team every week to have their best 11 on the pitch. That's what we want to see.
Yeah,
you know?
100%.
So, right, let's get into our Premier League preview. Just take a couple of comments here first. All that time, lads, petting Arteta's ego. When Liverpool had 38 injuries, it was a case of get on with it, which we did without under 12s. Spent over $500 million. No sympathies from me. It's not sympathy. It's just a topic, Dana, we wanted to talk
Absolutely.
about.
Yeah,
it wasn't necessarily Arsenal. It was just, this is a graphic that I got today. So I thought,
well, I mean, here's the thing, right? We've seen quite a number of clubs, my own club included, have a phenomenal amount of injuries this season. So there is something not working in what's going on.
Yeah.
Now it's finding it and pinpointing it, and you know what I mean?
Arsenal fan says the worst Premier League in years. It's the worst Premier League in years for them, all right. Absolutely. 100%.
They wouldn't win a fucking argument. They're a small club. I had my cousin Paul, give him a shout out, is an Arsenal fan. And I thought I says, is this fucker winding me up the other night? Sent me a message after the Forest game and went, he's our muck. And I went, what are you talking about? Like, you've beaten Fulham 2-1 at home and now you got your chest out. Cop on, will you? And he says, something. I says, you and Fraud can, you know, keep holding your nuts in the bag there, lads. I says, Amarin will win a championship before Arteta will.
Yeah, maybe.
You don't know what you're talking about. I says, well, I fucking do, you know. I says, you aren't a big club. You haven't got a big club mentality. I said, you've won 47 major trophies versus 66 for United. I said, you're not even at the same level as we are, let alone in the same conversation. So I said, don't be coming at me like that, pal.
Do you know, it was an interesting conversation I heard the other day. It was on one of the creators on YouTube. Can't remember which one it was, but they were talking about even in United's worst decade, 12 years, whatever you want to call it.
I spoke to you about it.
Since Fergie, you're still accumulating silverware.
2 Carabaos, 2 FA Cups, and a Europa Conference, Europa League. It's mad, 5 trophies in 10 years. How many have Arsenal won in the last 10 years, in the glory years?
I think there's 3 or 4 FA Cups.
How many have Spurs won? How many have Newcastle won?
Listen.
We're not getting at the Geordies. We like the Geordies. Yeah. You know, how many have Chelsea won? Like, there's a lot of teams there that would have taken your hand off our 5 trophies.
Absolutely, 100%.
A lot of teams would have taken your hand off it.
Let's kick off the preview then. Everton versus Arsenal. Joanne's going for a 2-1. Graham is in as well. He's talking about... What do you make of this before you start, actually? Graham is talking about the boots with the blades and the studs and all that kind of stuff.
It's part of it, 100%.
Yeah. They're like slippers now, really, aren't they? There's very little support in them by the looks of things.
And again, I think it's another... They want the players want the boots to be very, very light. But because of that, again, there's less and less support, which also means when you strike, you don't have the level of support when you come back up. So you could be looking at a situation where, you know, you're pushing off and your muscles are taking the brunt because the boot can't do the job for you. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, big up Joanne, one of the real ones. Yeah, I don't see you finishing 5th. That's definitely not going to happen.
No, I think you'll get third out of it, if I'm honest. Like,
yeah, unfair on Everton to play last night. Then 12:30 Saturday, 2-2 draw. Though the only thing I said after they and I said it to Darren this morning, because we got the 1-0 win and McAllister wasn't badly injured. I was kind of glad then that Tarkowski didn't get the red, because now Everton have him for Saturday to play against Arsenal, you know. So that's the only cloud with the silver lining, really. From
and don't forget, this is going to be, you know, while Saka's back at the office, and that's great for Arsenal. Missing Gabriel is going to be huge. The boy Beto up front is a tank. He barrels himself around that pitch, you know, and makes it very, very difficult for our centre-backs.
Is this a game? Here's a question for you. Is this a game where Saka should be involved in with Real Madrid on the horizon? Like if you were manager, let's suppose you're manager of Arsenal right now, right? You're pretty much staring down the barrel of the league more or less being done, yeah?
Yeah.
So what are you looking at? Your last opportunity for silverware potentially is the Champions League. Now, I know we have views on that, obviously, right? But are you playing Bukayo Saka in a really tough match at Everton at Goodison?
Everton, really physical team. Goodison, not the best pitch in the world. Early kickoff on a Saturday morning. I 110% play Ethan Wanyeri. 110%. Not even it.
This has all the hallmarks of a repeat injury, doesn't it? If it happens.
Like, I don't think he'll start him. He may bring him on for a cameo. And I think I can understand that, because I would want him to have played a couple of games before he maybe rocks up at Real.
Yeah.
Do you know, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see James Tarkowski go from being the villain to the hero here for Liverpool fans.
Yeah.
And I could absolutely see Everton getting something out of this. We know they're tough to break down. They're dogged. They're resilient. And the boy Beto will really, really rough up the boys at the back. Illiman and Doy is back. Jack Harrison is back. There's a couple of lads making their way back for Everton. I think Everton will get something out of this. I really do.
Joining us, Everest.
I'm going to go 1-1, but I think Everton will get something here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the fixture you're looking at. I said it when I was looking at it, like, and the fact that we won 1-0 last night is huge because Arsenal would have been looking at that as a game that could spoil the party a little bit. And because it didn't, and now we're doing the reversal, we're now playing Fulham on Sunday. They have the early game against Everton on the Saturday because of the Champions League, obviously, you know.
It's a great save from the boy Vicario there.
I haven't seen that actually.
A great save. Is it Palmer? I think it's Palmer. And he whips it from the left-hand side across into the far top corner, and the boy Vicario goes and gets a good hand at it and stuff.
Very good. Crystal Palace versus Brighton.
A little bit disappointed in both of them, if the truth be known, after the other night. I think obviously Palace dropping point to Southampton won't have enjoyed that at all. Would have looked at that as an opportunity to step a bit higher up the league table. And
remember as well, Palace with a late equaliser.
Yeah, 94th minute, I think it was. And Brighton being humbled by Aston Villa 3-0. You know, so yeah, I think this is a big derby, by the way. Did you know this was a derby?
I did.
This is a big derby. There's a particular road that links them. And it's like the N17 derby or whatever it's called. And it's Brighton versus
Mad Max
Palace.
Fury Road.
So yeah, I think I think this will be a decent game, and I actually think there'll be a few goals in it. And you know what, Joanne? I was gonna agree with you, but I will.
There you go.
I'm gonna go 2-2. Yeah,
on the nose.
DL Bishop Desmond.
There you go. West Ham versus Bournemouth.
Yeah, Bournemouth.
Both teams on a bit of a wobble, aren't they? Both teams on a bit of a wobble.
I think, I certainly think West Ham look a more solid side under Graham Potter. The message probably hasn't landed with everybody just yet. And again, he's another one of those managers looking into a bag. He's got square holes in front of him on the board, and he's got a load of round pegs. And he's like, this is tough. So I think that the performances have been better, but they have maybe got the results that they'll look for. I think Bournemouth will do this here. I think it plays into their hands. I think West Ham at home will have to try and push to get the result. And I think as they do, I think Bournemouth can pick them off. There's a lot of guys there play well on the counter-attack. Evan Nilsson, Kluivert, Dango Quattara, Antonio Semenyo. Look, there's quite a few of them.
Christie on the link up.
Yeah, so I think Bournemouth will do this. I'm going to go Bournemouth 2-1.
Nice. Ipswich versus Wolves.
Yeah, I'm going to surprise you here because I'm actually going Wolves. I know Ipswich have had a great win, but I think Wolves are playing real nice football at the minute. They've become very, very solid at the back. I think the boy Strand Larsson's doing a great job for them in the absence of Matthias Cunha. I think when he gets both of them to play, when he's got Strand Larsson as the 9 and Cunha as the 10, he could really have something there. But I think I'm going to go Wolves on this. I think Ipswich again back home haven't been great this season. They've really struggled to pick up results, and I fancy Wolves to get over the line here. Wolves look like they're just about clear and safe, and because of that, I think the shackles will come off, and I think Wolves will beat them 2-1.
What do you make of the lap talk at the moment? If Ipswich get relegated, or when they get relegated, if you like. 40 million release clause for Liam Delap.
It's some of the best money a team will spend is 40 million on Liam Delap. I think it's about double what they paid from recollection. I think they paid out about 18 million for the boy Delap. So if they're getting 40 out of it, they're doubling up plus 10%. Yeah, you're not wrong, Dane. What would Ian say? I digress. But yeah, I think the lap is gonna. I've mentioned it before. I think he's the heir to the throne at England. I think he's England's answer to replacing Harry Kane. I really do, and I know some people think that's a mental thing to say, but I think if I'm Thomas Tuchel at the minute and I can see Harry Kane is edging closer to the end of his career, I probably want the boy Delap to be involved in a couple of squads with him to just have
we
an
have a penalty
idea.
here. We have a penalty here under review. Apparently,
It was down the Spurs end, so it'll be for a Chelsea penalty. It was overturned.
Overturned. All good.
Yeah, no, there's not a lot in it. It's Destiny Udogie and Enzo Fernandez. Fernandez gone down like he's been shot from the crowd, and there's little or no contact at all. Yeah, he's thrown himself there. He actually should be booked for the dive, if I'm honest. Took the goal very well, but he's gone down there like a...
Might be a bit of time on this at the end. It's 89 minutes at the moment, so...
I imagine we'll have about 6 anyway, because there's been probably 10 subs, 30 seconds a sub, and then there's been a couple of yellow cards, and then there's been goal under review, the Spurs goal. I'd be shocked if there's not 6 or 7. We're going to find out any minute. Go. It's a great tackle. Who's that? Christian Romero, great tackle. Great ball.
Corner
Go on. Get it in. Yes, finish. Oh, good save, Sanchez. That's a big save. Didn't cover himself in glory for the goal, but did really well there.
Do we feel like a Tottenham goal might come? No?
It's certainly Brennan Johnson does really well, puts the ball across the box. Yeah, Son comes in on the back stick with the left foot. He's reaching for it. It's not the most amazing contact in the world. It's not a clean contact, but Sanchez does really well to claw it out of the bottom corner. It's very, very good.
Excellent. Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest. This is a big game, isn't it? This is a top 5 game.
It's a great game. Do you know what's even better? I can't wait to be there.
I let you in, didn't I? Didn't I lead you in there lovely now, didn't I?
I cannot wait to be there.
The stage is yours.
Yeah, like obviously we're heading over on Saturday. We've got Villa and Forest on Saturday evening, and then we've got the Manchester derby on Sunday. It's just myself and Brody, a little father-son trip. Brilliant. Half a Christmas present, half a birthday present, and we're there, 12 minutes of added time.
Well,
12 minutes of added time.
Cole Palmer just gone off. Towson coming on. Chelsea trying to shut it down.
Well, he's bringing on Dewsbury Hall as well. So Towson's come on.
Then they're definitely shutting it down.
Enzo and Palmer going off, and it's Towson, which means back 5, and it's Dewsbury Hall to go into the middle, try and retain possession of the ball.
Poor Maresca worried about Tottenham getting going here.
Yeah. Really looking forward to the Villa game, gotta say. I get an awful lot of enjoyment out of football. Football it's my passion in life. And at times it can be difficult to watch football because you've got a card in the game. And I've mentioned it in the group previously how sometimes it's just like I'm really enjoying this game tonight, even though it's not a great game of football, because a goal at either end doesn't really upset me, And if either of them are playing badly, it doesn't upset me. And if somebody gets sent off, nothing really. You
can just enjoy it for what it is.
I can enjoy it, and it's great. It really is. And Saturday evening is going to be like that. It's 5:30 on Saturday evening. It's Forest and Villa. And myself and Brody will be at Villa Park. We'll probably do a little we'll do a little video and we'll send it on and stuff like that. And always looking forward to it. And when we've got a bit of a weekend because we've got the Villa and Forest game and we've got the United City derby on Sunday. And we're actually staying in St. George's Park, which is home of the English national team. It's their training base, it's their facilities, and it's where the players stay when they come for England duty. And we're staying in the team hotel. So really excited. Don't
worry, Dino. They both have their Luke Shaw English jerseys ironed and ready. Don't worry, Dino. I'm waiting on the comments.
I've got me David Beckham one here. I didn't realise you could stay at the hotel. It's actually a Hilton hotel. And when I was searching for somewhere to stay the other day, it came up on the feed and I went, I don't think I can.
Yes, yes.
We knew it was
Yes.
coming. We knew it was coming.
Not us, Dano. Scouse, not English, huh?
That's it. And when I seen you could stay at, I just said, how cool is that for a 10-year-old? You know, he's gonna go into school he won't be in on Monday, but he'll get in on Tuesday, and the lads will say, how was your weekend? And he'll go, it was great. I went to see Villa Forest. I went to the Manchester Derby, and I stayed in the England team hotel at St. George's Park. And like that's just it's all about making them good memories, you know.
How good is that for a 10-year-old? You mean how good is that for the 10-year-old that's with the 10-year-old? Give up on that, will you? How good is that for a 10-year-old?
Somebody did comment on this today. Somebody commented on this today and said, you're going to 2 Premier League games and you're staying in the English national team hotel. Are you sure this is for the kids? I was like, oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah.
Get him into school on Monday. None of this extra day off. There ain't no extra day off. That ain't happening. You better leave a big brown trout on the matches before leaving. Oh, yeah, that conversation.
It's funny because Niall's had that conversation. We're hoping to maybe find out which room Trent stayed in, Dino.
He wants to stay in Trent's room and wreck it. I told him to do one in a bed and just put a Trent flag in it.
Rats out.
Right, there, let's move into Sunday then. Oh, you got me your Villa. Did you give me your Villa first?
I didn't.
Oh.
I'm gonna go 2-1 Villa.
Oh,
I think Villa are in flying form at the minute. I think Emery has them humming. I think he's using his squad very, very well. Be it Rashford, Watkins, Rodgers, Malen, Asensio, Bailey. He's getting something out of all of them.
How good is that Asensio signing been?
If we look at
class, isn't it?
Like if you look at last night, right? You've got Malen goal, Asensio assist. You got Asensio goal, Rodgers assist. You've got Rashford goal, Rodgers assist. 3 goals and 3 assists from your 6 front players. You know, just brilliant. Like if you're Unai Emery, really, really is phenomenal the way he's been able to do it. The same
to say Rashi Dazzler. Hey,
I'm doing that. I'm hopefully gonna sneak into the away end, Dino, and boo him out of bleeding place.
See, you got a juice box to spare to give to El Brody for the match. Be all right now, sandwich on a drink and an LP, the fruit and the yogurt.
And a banana. You never know, yeah.
There you go. Yeah. There we go. So what are you giving us, Villa Forest?
I'm going 2-1 Villa. It'll be a tough night for them because obviously Forest will probably come and play with 5. They'll go 3 at the back with the wing back system, I would imagine. You know,
getting Brody to go up and ask for dinner. I'm thinking the same way. You know, right. Let's get into Sunday. Spurs versus Southampton. Spurs at the moment, 6 minutes to go to try and find an equaliser against Chelsea.
Yeah, Spurs aren't playing great at the minute, but you'd have to imagine they'll beat Southampton at home.
Please, sir, can I have some more?
Bring the little cast iron skillet.
Few prawn sambos for him. There you go.
There you are.
Yeah. Spurs, Southampton.
3-1 Spurs.
Yeah, 3-1 Spurs. Fulham, Liverpool.
Yeah, I think we've talked about Fulham before. Marco Silva doing a great job there, but goals are very, very difficult to come by for them.
They're in a bit of a bind at the moment, aren't they? Really?
Yeah, they just they're a good side. They defend really well. You know, they're competitive. They create chances. Porro needs to be very careful here. The ball goes out down past the end line. Now he's crossed it. It hits Dewsbury Hall, hits Porro, and cannons onto Dewsbury Hall. So there's 3 or 4 deflections. And it goes out, and Dewsbury Hall goes into the box to defend the corner. And as he does, Porro goes out to take the corner. and the line-out gives it the opposite way as a goal kick. And Porro is inches from his face, and he is letting him have a hot and heavy. Porro's just been booked. He's not on the pitch very long, but he's lucky that the lads are able to grab him off. He could easily have been sent there, I think. Fulham, doing really well under Silva, but just can't score the goals. And with that in mind, I think Liverpool will do enough to just break them down. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool.
Excellent. Brentford versus Chelsea. Brentford, another team struggling slightly.
I don't want to give Ian any bad news, but he went to a Chelsea-Brentford game a couple of years ago. Do you remember?
The one at the bridge, yeah. We were in Dallas.
Well, you were in Dallas, but I was actually in Manchester. I was at a game myself. So on the same day this year, I'll be at the Manchester Derby. He'll be at Chelsea-Brentford. And we know what happened the last time that happened. Does lightning strike twice? I don't know. I think Chelsea have done all right tonight. Without maybe scoring a couple of extra ones.
This kind of feels like a draw, doesn't it? Would you go draw Brentford Chelsea?
I certainly wouldn't be shocked, and I think at the minute, if they manage to hold out here 1-0 and they get a draw at Brentford, I think that's 4 decent points home to Spurs and away to Brentford. I'd be happy with those 4 points and I'd keep moving. But we shall see. Yeah, I think they'd be happy with it. I think we'll go 1-1, will we?
Yeah, 1-1, I think. Yeah. Goals not as plentiful at the moment for either side.
No, they're not. They're absolutely not.
And then the big one, obviously, the derby, Manchester United versus Man City.
I am so positive about this, you have no idea. Which, considering our league position and considering some of our performances, some people might be shocked by. But I think Sunday is the type of game that we've been doing better in recently. In games where we've had to play a certain way. Does this look very similar to the Arsenal game where, we came out and he said, I don't like playing the low block, but we were able to get a result and we move on and that type of thing? I think we might play that kind of a low block, might make it very difficult to break us down, and we might play well on the bounce. And I think United are going to get over the line here. And I'm going United 2-1 here.
Which would be an amazing result for Chelsea.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely it would. I think City's still struggling to find their best form. Obviously 2-0 the other night against Leicester. I looked at the team and there was a couple of changes and I thought, wow, he's going in. He's making a few changes here. And the bench was very impressive. They didn't call upon too much of it, but whether he's saving them for Sunday or not, I'm not sure. But I'm very, very confident. I really am. And maybe it's misplaced optimism, but I feel comfortable with Sunday.
I mean, obviously Haaland going out for the rest of the season or whatever it is, you know what I mean?
But I mean, like that's obviously plays a huge part in it. I think the boy Marmoush is a very, very good player as well. By the way, I think he'll cause a different problem. His involvement is we have a weekly chat about El Nono, and he loves. That's a great touch, and he loves pouring water on El Nono. Graham used to do a bit of. Graham used to be a goalkeeper as well, like yourself and yourself, and he did a bit of goalkeeping training for Rathout Harp. So we take 6 or 8 of the kids and he do the goalkeeping training with them and stuff. And he's not a fan of Andre Onana. I can tell you, he is not a fan.
I think any goalkeeper with their salt wouldn't be, that's for sure. It's interesting. Yeah, don't be surprised, but. Darren would be in his ear anyway. He's not sitting too far away from him, that's for sure.
Definitely not.
Yeah, and then we rounded out Monday then Leicester versus Newcastle.
Yeah, I think this is another sort of a game that Newcastle will be really, really happy to have in front of them.
This is back to life, back to reality, isn't it?
Yeah, this is ideal for Newcastle, you know. Go out, put in a performance, pick up a win, couple of goals on the score sheet, and keep things moving in the right direction. And this is Newcastle closing the gap as well, I think. And I don't necessarily think I'm going to just have a little peep at the league table right now, but I don't think it's Newcastle out the door either. No, it's not. Like, okay, for my money, game over at Stamford Bridge.
Yeah,
For
match
my
just
money,
finished 1-0.
Liverpool on 70. What have we got here?
73, isn't it?
Liverpool on 73 have guaranteed the Champions League spot.
Yeah.
I think Arsenal on 61 are also guaranteed a Champions League spot.
Yeah.
I think with the rest of them there, right, what I'm looking at, you've got Villa have 48 points. Now, if we're saying that the top 5 get a Champions League spot, Villa are still in the mix. 30 games, 48 points. Villa are still in the mix. Newcastle, 29 games, 50 points. If Newcastle beat Leicester at the weekend, they go up to 53, which brings them above Chelsea, and they still have a game in hand. And the only thing for Newcastle is their game in hand is against us. It's at St. James's Park, so I wouldn't back against them, but it is a slightly tougher game than some of the other teams will have around them.
Still have to get it done. Yeah.
Absolutely. Chelsea up to 52 points, and Forest 57, flying high, but I still think there's a little bit of work to be done to get them over the line. I think Forest still need. Forest have 8 games left.
That's why the Villa game is so big.
Yeah, it really is, because if Villa win, it closes the gap there a little bit.
They're back in the shake-up, aren't they? And if Forest win, you're nearly taking Villa out, potentially out of the equation.
If Forest win, right, I'm taking Villa out of the equation, and I'm probably saying Liverpool, Arsenal, and Forest for the top 3 spots.
Actually, Forest, if they win at the weekend, and if Everton were to beat Arsenal, there'd be only a point in it, isn't it, between Arsenal and Forest? Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. And Forest's fixtures aren't great, but they're also not terrible.
I'm thinking with Arsenal caught up in the Real Madrid 2 legs as well. That's a real opportunity for Arsenal or for Forest to stake claims on being second.
Forest of Villa, right? And then they're home against Everton. That'll be a tough game. Everton flying high. They're away against Spurs. They'll probably fancy that. They're home against City. That's a head-to-head. That's a 6-pointer.
Just have to take care of my little pig here.
They're home against Brentford.
Yeah.
They're away at Palace. Again, winnable. They're home at Leicester. Very winnable. They're away at West Ham. And the last day of the season's a very interesting game. Because on the last day of the season, Nottingham Forest are home to Enzo Maresca and Chelsea. So at the minute, Chelsea are 5 points behind Forest, and they meet on the last day of the season.
Interesting.
It's Niall's dog.
it's my little piggy here, all right. Definitely. Yeah. Man, the 2 of them are both conked out here, stretched on the bed, and one just grunts. You can hear him; he's literally like a pig snoring. Like, and the other lad does not a peep out, and you have to check him to make sure he's still alive.
So the other lad is Hillary, obviously, the lad that's not breathing, right? And then the other boy who's making all the noise is you. Is that how this rolls?
They say that the dogs mimic their owners, don't they? So
well, there you go.
Dino knows. He'll feel the brunt of that in Vegas. Get some sleep now, Dino. You ain't going to be getting much in Vegas.
Oh,
sounds like my missus snoring.
Dino, I'm going to send you. Dino knows already what he's in for, but I'm going to send you a video, Dino.
That's mild.
Because Niall knows I took a video of him one night when we were in a hotel room together. And
purely snoring, folks. Purely snoring.
Yeah.
Not for our OnlyFans page. Right?
No. Now, in saying that, I think you were, let's describe it as scantily clad. You'd only had a pair of drawers on you, didn't you?
That's how I sleep. That's how I
I
roll.
only had the pair of drawers on, and I was waiting at one stage for the lads above us in the hotel to start banging the floor because I thought
Dino has experienced myself and Baz in tandem.
And if Baz not a great, is Baz
Baz gives me a run for my money. Dino will tell you in the room.
Right,
Baz.
Very good.
I have a video from Texas of him the whole hotel.
Yeah. There's a wanted poster of him in the Marriott in Manchester, Dino, as well.
Do you know what my biggest fear is? My biggest fear is sometimes I like a little nap on the plane. Now that can be dodgy ground.
Absolutely. I imagine if you fall asleep on the plane and you start giving it that, someone's gonna wake you.
Dano kicks me and everything when I'm asleep.
Oh, he's 100% right.
Yeah.
He's 100% right.
I'll tell you. I'm hoping this new drink I found, the parachute one, is going to help me. That's what I'm hoping. This new parachute drink.
Well, it
slept
does.
Like a baby last night.
You did, but you don't know if you snored, I assume.
I don't.
Well, and from reading your description earlier on, you said you woke up with a headache that you'd been on the gargle nearly.
That's only because it was a deep sleep. I don't deep sleep at all.
So this is what I was going to say. When I know myself, when I go out and I have a deep sleep, I wake up with that headache. But at the next morning, Rosanna will say to me, "Fucking hell, man, you were snoring last night."
I was doing frog splashes off the wardrobe and all he did was scratch his nose. And that's from a light sleeper. Do you know what's really weird? I can be nodding off going to sleep. And before I'm actually even asleep, I'm still conscious and I can hear myself beginning to snore. Now, that's scary.
Do you know what's even scarier? I've seen you do it at 1 o'clock in your shop.
Yeah, I got one of these. You were looking
at the laptop one day.
I got one of the smart rings.
And you went,
I got one of the smart rings, right? And I put it on, so it tracks your sleep, your heart rate, pressure, all that kind of stuff, stress, everything, right? And it came up the other day in the shop on Monday, I think it was, or Tuesday it was, and I had 45 minutes of sleep on the ring in the middle of the day, and I don't even remember it.
And you were missing 6 T-shirts and a figure when you woke up.
So lads, at 12 o'clock in the day, come in and treat yourself to a shirt. That's mad, isn't it? Oh, God. I can't drink the energy drinks before bed. They stop you snoring. I can't drink them.
They'll stop you sleeping, not fucking snoring, Teddy. You're mad?
I'd be with Dino in the club, me and the Usos and Machine Gun Kelly if we kept drinking energy drinks. And I'll be in my J's fluid as well. I'll be getting arrested.
I can't fathom how anybody drinks those energy drinks. Like I've genuinely no idea how anyone does it. I'm allowed 1 coffee a day. That's my intake of caffeine. Because other than that, I'd be like you. I'd be swinging out of light bulbs in here by like fucking 11:30.
When I was gymming on a regular basis, I used to take a pre-workout before the gym for about 40 minutes before I go to the gym. And God knows how much caffeine and everything else was in it. But it was called Angel Dust. And I had to bring it in from the north, from the UK, because it was banned here. So, I say this stuff, it was mental.
Not like a bit of contraband.
Absolutely. Listen, will we get into our bets? Because I know Ted will have his ready and all that kind of thing. So
we shall. Now, you mentioned to me earlier on, you said you were doing some bet builders for
your 2 games.
And I said, I'll do them too. And I did.
Great show. Brilliant.
Right, where am I going first? I'm going to result on both the score.
Result on both the score. Yeah.
So I am going Wolves away from home at Ipswich 4-1. I'm going Liverpool away from home at Fulham 5-2. Okay. And I'm going Manchester United in the derby at home at 4-1. And that pays a grand total of 88-1 for the treble. 3 results and 6 teams to score.
You just pipped me on my one. I'm 86-1.
Ooh, nice.
But I went 3 draws. I went Everton, Arsenal, result and both score draw.
Nice.
Aston Villa and Forest, Result about the score draw.
And Man United, Man City.
Result about the score draw. There you go. So that pays 86 to 1.
Nice.
Not too bad.
Not at all. Next, I'll go to my goal or assist. So I'm going to start off on Monday night. Newcastle away at Leicester. I haven't gone Alexander Isak. I've gone Jacob Murphy having a great season at Newcastle. I think it'll probably be his last big season at Newcastle because I expect Newcastle to pick something up.
How good has he gotten since we
He's
both
been very
absolutely
good.
went in on him? Remember we both had a barney about him there, and all of a sudden now he's found himself.
He's done really well, the lad. He really, really has. I always, and I said this to you before, when I'm looking at players, I always look into their statistics and how many points they've got on fantasy. Fantasy is always a good measuring stick for me. And if we look at like Jacob Murphy here, right? Jacob Murphy has Newcastle.
You know, saying Isaac out injured, I think that's like.
Don't know, Dino. I didn't see anything, but Jacob Murphy has 106 points in fantasy football. Right? That leaves him 1 point ahead of Bruno Guimaraes and only 7 points behind Anthony Gordon. So I think that's a pretty decent return for a guy like Jacob Murphy. You know?
Ted saying slight muscular injury, they think he'll be back for the game. Yeah, he should be all right.
I know what Dino's talking about. He went off and they replaced him. Yeah. But I think he's okay. And again, if I look at fantasy tells me he's got a 75% chance of playing. I think when you've got an Alexander Isak and he's got a 75% of playing, I think he plays. Yeah. Because I think Newcastle now it's this is a big opportunity for them,
And they have till Monday.
Yeah.
So they've plenty of time to sort them out as well.
Yeah. So I've gone Jacob Murphy. I've gone Eberechi Eze for Palace against Brighton.
Yeah.
I've gone Evan Nilsson for Bournemouth against West Ham.
Yeah.
And then for my last player, I've gone with Bukayo Saka because I think they may need to call upon him again off the bench. And I think he'll come up with the goods from the bench, though.
I thought you were going to drop the Bruno bomb on me there.
Just wait. Just wait. I got Bruno, don't you worry.
Okay. He's in the bet builder, so good.
He's in the bet builder.
I'm probably not the only bet builder, just saying.
So where am I going to? I'm now going to my bet builder for Villa and Forest.
Okay. I have to pull up my one, see what I did.
So my bet builder for Villa and Forest is Villa to win, both teams to score. I've gone with Milenkovic to be shown a card. And I've gone Morgan Rogers goal or assist.
Interesting. What odds did you get in that?
14s.
I got 76 to 1.
So you didn't go with the same four I went with, obviously.
I went with a draw.
Right.
I went
both to score.
Both to score.
Yes.
I agreed with John Morgan Rogers to score or assist.
Yes.
I went with Marco Asensio, anytime goal scorer.
Okay.
And I went with Ryan Yates to be shown a card.
Okay.
So that's what I went with. Now, in order for that to work, if you're looking at it being a draw, maybe 1-1, you're probably looking at Rodgers to assist for Asensio for it to come up.
Which is very precise.
Yeah, very
Where
precise.
if you had it done goal or assist, it could have gone either way.
Yeah, hence the odds.
But you wouldn't have gotten exactly.
Hence the odds.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
And then I'm going to round out with Sunday afternoon, sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows at Old Trafford.
That's it.
Both teams to score. Man United to win. Manuel Ugarte to get a yellow card. And goal or assist by the king of the Stretford end, Bruno Fernandes.
What's that paying you?
It's not paying that much, would you believe?
Really?
It's
Okay.
18-1.
That's rough, isn't it, for a bet builder?
Isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, and it's got 4 legs. Like, it's not.
I'm the same as you. I have 4 legs and I've 85 to 1.
Right, well, you've obviously gone for the jackpot. What have you gone for?
I haven't gone for the jackpot at all. And I was tempted to put
So have you gone both to score?
No.
You've just gone the straight draw.
I've gone the straight draw.
Right. Have you gone 2 cards and 1 goal or assist?
No, I've gone 2 goal scorers and 1 card.
So you've gone the opposite way. Right. Okay. So let's have a look at this here. You've gone.
Well, I gave you 1 already from earlier. We spoke about it. So obviously Bruno is the United one.
Bruno's your goal or assist?
No, Bruno's anytime goal scorer.
Anytime goal scorer.
Because he takes the pens as well.
He does, you're right, and the free kicks, and he scored a couple of them recently. So you've gone the draw, and you've got Bruno to score anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've got another anytime goal scorer.
Which is the boy Marmouche.
Correct. And then I went for the
card.
Yeah, and I was going to go Ugarte, but I didn't go Ugarte, but I didn't go Man United. I went City.
So then if you've gone City, and when I looked at it, I was like, the one City player for me who I thought might be in a bit of trouble is, again, I look at matchups, and our left wing back will be going up against Mateus Nunes. And that's where I was looking at.
That's
good?
Right there. That's there. And that's 85 to 1.
You're welcome.
So the Marmouche, Bruno Fernandes, both anytime goal scorers, and Mateus Nunes to be shown a card. 85 to 1. It's good odds.
It's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, it's absolutely not bad. Yeah.
I did 2 other bets. I'll just go through them quickly. So for the Ireland, we didn't look at the League of Ireland, so I'll just get your quick thoughts on it actually. And then we'll have to do Ted. We'll come back to Ted's in a second. Then.
Come back to Ted's.
Just shoot your results for both leagues there as you want. I'll post me bets in the comments.
Bows in the first game.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Cork in the second game.
Yeah.
No, do you know what? I'm going to go Bows and I'm going to go a draw in the second game.
Good shoot.
I'm going to go draw in the third game. I'm going to go Rovers and both to score against Galway. And I'm going draw and both score in the Dublin Derby. And big news coming out of St. Pat's tonight. Our boy Aidan Keena is out for a prolonged period of time. He's just been put on the shelf by St. Pat's. And they're talking about a couple of months.
Big player for them as well.
Big player.
There we go. What are we thinking? Division 1? Bray?
No, not Bray. I've actually got a team playing in Athlone this Saturday, so I'm going to go Athlone on that basis. I'm going Cove because up the Rebels. I'm going Longford. Longford are a better team than Finn Harps for my money. Although Ballybuffet is a tough place to go. I'm gonna go Treaty.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go a draw UCD in Dundalk.
You're joking.
Yeah.
Really? Dundalk are on fire at the moment. You see, they are terrible.
Yeah, but
Dundalk are going to smash these.
These students have a good night out and all of a sudden they're a different team, you know.
I know, but this won't be how. This will be how many. This is different gravy. Dundalk
what are you talking about? 2 or 3?
Yeah, I'd say so. I would have thought so.
Right, show me Ted's bet.
Ted's bet. Where are we? Ted's bet. GA. Everton versus Arsenal.
Goal and assist. I reckon he goes Beto. He 100% goes Strand Larson. He definitely goes Morgan Rogers. And he rounds out with Eberechi Eze. There you go. Beto, Strand Larson, Rogers, and Eze. What have we got, Ted? Out of the 4. I reckon I've nailed it. I reckon I've all 4 tonight. I reckon I've all 4.
I reckon you've 2.
I reckon I've 4.
What a shout was that? 2.
You could see the comments, you little swine.
I said I reckon you got 2, and then it just popped up. I swear to God, honestly.
Give us the 2. Give us the 2 we have, Ted.
Yeah,
give us the 2 we have. Which 2 do we get? He's definitely going Eberechi Eze, 100%. And I reckon he's going Morgan Rogers. I reckon we got the last 2.
He says, Daz says Ferguson has a runner on Saturday in the horses.
Didn't realise he could see them. I told you could see them. Little snitch.
I honestly didn't.
Yeah, little snitch.
I'm off the bed, boys. Great show night, and God bless. Love you to bits. And you, Dino. Absolutely. We will chat tomorrow.
Night, Dino.
We will chat tomorrow. Actually, no, wait. It was 1. You only got 1 right. Larson was right.
Strand Larson was right. Right. Okay. First game. First game. Right. He's gone Martinelli for Arsenal, and if he's not gone, fucking Beto. He's gone Liam Strand Larson was right. He's gone he's gone Rashford, and he's gone Palace Brighton. He's gone Palace Brighton Mateta.
Same training the other day wearing the headgear.
Yeah, seen that.
Are we looking now, Ted? Here's the comment coming in. Switch my Villa one last minute.
Right, Ted, come on, break it to us, pal, will you?
Hitman Dazzler must be the name of the horse.
Hitman, I'll have a little look now.
Did that not win recently? Did that not win it? Did that win a Cheltenham or something?
Do you know what's funny? Do you know what's really funny?
Huh?
Where were you last year on the Saturday of the Grand National?
Watching Everton and Liverpool disaster, and then killing it for a thing.
No, you weren't.
I was at the thing. We were at the thing in Cardiff, weren't we?
Nope.
Where were we?
We were in Cheshire Oaks watching a man have a meltdown with a phone.
Yeah. Oh God!
Which means this weekend last year I was also in England because on the Sunday we went to Liverpool and
Crystal Palace, yeah,
and Crystal Palace.
Trying to forget about that. Great trip.
I could have saved myself a few quid and gone to stay in the same hotel and just brought Brody to the Grand National instead.
The only thing that cheered us up was the Villa game. Remember the Villa result against Arsenal?
That's right, on the way home in the car.
Yeah. Pulled into that garage, didn't he?
Yeah. Get that good English chocolate. Those white Twixes and caramels.
Ted, who else have we got?
Spit it out, will you, Ted? Jesus Christ, pal.
0 out of 3.
Okay, give us the results, Ted, will you? Because this is an hour-long show, not a fucking week.
Yeah. This is 6 furlongs, not a Grand National.
Absolutely. Aintree. Let's see here now. Tomorrow.
Comments been in there ages.
Jesus. Niall, you letting the show down here? Saturday. What are we, the 4? Are we the 5 o'clock or the 4 o'clock?
What do you mean been in there ages? Hasn't been in here ages. There, it's in there now. It's just come through now. Saka, Asensio, and Sarr.
along with Larson.
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. 24.
Absolutely not too bad. And all good shouts, Ted, as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Daz. We spoke about it earlier. Horrific. 4 p.m. Dazzler on Saturday. Hitman running. Alex Ferguson's.
I have it up here. I just can't see Hitman.
Look under Brett.
He must be a bit down in the betting. He's 80-1.
See, Ted, you say that, but they come through much slower on StreamYard. I'm not on YouTube, I'm on StreamYard here, so they tend to take their time coming through. Look under mid-carder. He won't be happy with that comment.
Oh, Ted, that's an absolute... Ted, that's a peach. Ooh.
The man who's having a match going into the Hall of Fame this year, mid-carder. There we go. Well, listen, great show.
I do have a question.
Oh, go on then, yeah.
It's very quick because we got to get out of here. Look at the time.
We do.
With the Grand National, it's 4 miles, 2 furlongs. It's a slog, right?
Yeah.
It's an absolute slog. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38. 38 horses running. Yeah. How do you make one of them 5-1 favourite? How do you make 38 a 5-1 favourite?
8 of them are ending up at the Chum Factory, the usual. That's what happens, doesn't it?
What are we like? 5-1 favourite. I am Maximus.
That's the right name, in fairness.
Willie Mullen and Paul Townsend. A great duo, a great sporting duo.
Absolutely.
But how do you make him sick? How do you make him 5-1 in a 38 runner race?
Well, if they're saying to win it again.
A 38 runner race over 4 miles long. There's so many variables. It's scary.
Yeah,
it's
but the issue is here, they normally kick off and he might be towards the front and stuff like that. So he'll try and have a clean berth all the way through and to be 30 odd behind him, flapping all over the place. Whoever is number 8 is winning it this year. Who's number 8 for Ted?
Hang on.
Brett the Hitman Hart.
No, it's you know what? It's quite high up in the betting. It's 14-1, number 8, Manila Cocooner, owned by Willie Mullins. Trained by Willie Mullins, and ridden by Jonathan Burke. I'm going to give you my tip.
Is Jonathan Burke climbing any weight on it?
No.
Okay.
I'm going to give you my... Excuse me. I'm going to give you my tip. There you go. Yeah, that's how it is.
Yeah.
My tip is a horse called Stumptown.
Okay.
And that's a Gavin Cromwell horse ridden by Keith Donoghue. And I'm going to go for Stumptown. And that's 8-1. So it's 4th favourite. And I'm going for Stumptown.
There you go.
You're welcome.
Right from the horse's mouth. Until next time, folks, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, but make sure you're hitting that bell because there will be videos going up over the weekend, both from the Manchester Derby and from Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, from this man on the screen. I will be shooting them up there as soon as
from the whole of England, from the home of English football. Did I say the home? Yeah. The home of English football and the national team, St. George's Park. Niall has seen the pictures in this place. This place looks insane.
Those ones I'm going to shoot over to Dino so he can put them up on his YouTube channel. He should really wear the Beckham jersey.
On my, you never know. Although,
Beckham jersey, blue shorts and flip-flops.
The Beckham jersey is red. It's not the white one.
Oh.
It's the one he scored the winning penalty against Argentina in. Do you remember? They beat them 1-0, went down the middle, driven it. Yeah. someone said, yeah, seen that as well. That the only problem is I'm not quite sure I'm at fighting weight for the Beckham jersey. I would have been quite substantially smaller when that jersey was being worn.
Rumour has you had the highlights on the hair as well, just saying.
Rumour, probably right.
Those
Probably
pictures
right.
need to be exposed.
Yeah, there was probably, there's probably pictures floating around with the highlights, all right, yeah.
And there's a story going around, you took a football boot to the forehead one time as well, so just saying.
I think it was an ex-girlfriend.
That was a suitcase. Just looked like a football boot coming at you.
Was a laptop.
Ooh.
It was a laptop.
You should have hit the escape key. Just saying.
I did. I did.
Folks, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you real soon. Cheers. Cheers, pal. On that note.
Salut.
Oh, I tell you, fuck Trent.